Raya and the Last Dragon is the latest animated film from Disney and it releases in theaters this Friday and on Disney Plus Premier Access. This is a movie that I was looking forward to for quite some time, even though I actually had no idea what it's about. I have been doing this thing recently where I know as little as possible going into a film, and that sometimes helps me enjoy a film a lot more. Sometimes not, but it also keeps a sense of mystery to it, and I can actually see it with a fresh set of eyes. All I knew was that there was a girl named Raya and a dragon in it. But this movie takes place in a world where some stuff has happened, which has led to a very desolate landscape. A girl named Raya, voiced by Kelly Marie Tran, is trying to figure out how to fix the world and essentially help those that she's lost and bring them back in some way. And when she meets a dragon named Sisu, played by Aquafina, she believes she may have found something that may potentially be the answer to all the problems in the world. Raya and the Last Dragon is once again a brilliant showcase for animation because it is gorgeous. The use of colors, the environments, the creature designs, the action sequences, which this movie has quite a bit of. This has a PG rating, which is, it doesn't seem like much, but at the same time, it's like, oh, well, okay, this is different from a G rating that an animated movie would usually get. This movie was absolutely sublime when it came to its visuals. It's gorgeous to look at, and it's really worth seeing on a bigger screen. I mean, if there wasn't a pandemic, I would love going to a theater right now. Unfortunately, because there is one, theaters are a skeptical place for me. And so watching it on a gigantic 4K TV is nice, but I wish this was a theater movie, you know? That the people who are going to get the chance to see this in theaters, more power to you. James Newton Howard's score is also one of the best parts of this movie for me. In a movie that I really, really like, by the way. This is a euphoric score, one of his best in years. The voice acting all around is just perfect. I loved Kelly Marie Tran as Raya. I loved the attitude and I loved the personality she brought to this character, and I think she is a wondrous talent in this. As well as Aquafina, who is funny as ever. I have yet to see anything with her in it and think, yeah, that's not funny or that's not affecting. She is a very talented actress and one of the best we have right now. Really, everybody in this film is very, very good, especially those two leads. Also, really like Gemma Chan as a nemesis to Raya, who is also like a friend at first, and they're sort of back and forth in terms of whether they like or hate each other, was really well executed. The action sequences, like I said, I touched upon for a second, they are brilliant. They are very, very well executed, and there is a swiftness to them that is wonderful to behold. Raya is not just a beautiful movie with good voice acting, however, it's also a film that deals with some very powerful themes. Themes that not necessarily every child in the audience watching the film will at first maybe understand or quite get, but adults will completely appreciate. And one of the major themes of this movie is grief and how people choose to process it and what they're doing in the wake of said grief. And the idea of trust and about finding the heart within you to reach out to other people and talk to them and, you know, sort of break barriers in that sense. It's a beautiful message in a time where people are constantly divided, and despite the things that continue to divide, finding some common ground. Now, of course, this is not an easy message, and it's not something that's easily executed. The movie makes a case of this, because as you're watching it, as Raya is trying to make certain things happen so that the world can be saved, she's also having to do things and make alliances that may not seem the best at the time, and they are being done in a way that there could be some backstabbing involved. In fact, maybe some literal backstabbing. And the film handles that beautifully. It's a wonderfully addressed theme, and it's a wonderfully executed theme, which I think really plays into this film. But a lot of the actions that are being taken by characters are being led through that grief as well. And so you see a myriad of emotions through its characters, especially through Raya, because she's lost someone very close to her. And you're seeing her make decisions sometimes solely based on that. And so sometimes she might be consumed by rage, so to speak, and she might do something that at the moment seems like, yeah, that's not what, a hero would do. That's not what a typical hero would do. You would try to measure your response. You would try to measure your decision making. Instead, she goes straight for the offense and she decides to basically, express herself through anger. And that happens with a lot of characters in this, especially since the events that have taken place leading to the world that the way it is right now have involved making decisions that were not quite savory always. And so each character has done something that isn't quite the best. Also, one thing about the film that I really loved was the chemistry between the characters. I loved this group that Raya eventually gets to befriend along with Sisu. These characters were wonderful. There was a lot of great comic relief between them. There was also very poignant moments between them. There's a kid who runs a shrimp boat, and the connections with him are quite beautiful, actually. In fact, he was one of my favorite characters of the movie at one point. This film also takes place in Southeast Asia, and the reason I mention that is because when it comes to cultural representation, there's quite a bit in this. It's actually quite lovely. There could have been more, though. That's all I'll say about that. I think it's wonderfully done. The stuff that we see, the stuff that we hear, the stuff that we sort of, get to, the world that we get to live in. It's just, I think that there were points where I thought, still feels slightly surface level. Could maybe go a little bit more and showcase a bit more, try something here, do something here, but that's a minor nitpick for me. When it comes to flaws, I don't have many with Raya and the Last Dragon. I think my minor flaw with this movie is that sometimes there's a threat level, then there is something that is an obstacle that is there throughout the film. I didn't often feel that level of threat, and I sometimes think that there was this villainous presence that the film was constantly telling you about, and I'm like, yeah, I understand how awful this thing is, but at the same time, I also, I feel like there is an easy way to beat it, as in when that thing shows up, until you eventually have to, try the really, bring out the big guns. Beyond that, Raya and the Last Dragon was wonderful. It was a film that I really enjoyed watching. It's one of my favorite movies of the year already, and I highly recommend checking it out as when you get the chance. It comes out, like I said, this Friday on Disney Plus and in theaters, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think about it. I'm going to give Raya and the Last Dragon a 9.5 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I also watched all 3 seasons of Westworld. I was supposed to put that review out before I put out this review, but then I got this screener and I was like, alright, we gotta get this done first. But look forward to seasons 1, 2, 3 reviewed simultaneously. It's gonna be one big video. I'm looking forward to talking about that. Guys, thank you very much as always for watching. If you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.